In this lesson, we're going to learn about specialty maps. Alright, so in the last lesson we had learned how to apply an image to our object, to a material here. And now what we want to do is we want to take a look at how we can start to use multiple maps on one material. So we had kind of discussed what some of those map channels were. And this time around I'm going to use the diffuse color channel, and I'm going to click on none, and you'll see that we have several different map types that we can choose from. Now the map type that I want to use in this lesson is going to be composite, and I want you to know that there are several different types of maps here that have several different options and parameters, and they all have their own special uses. So with composite, if we double click on this, you'll see that we have what's called layers. Okay, so if you're familiar with a program like Photoshop, you can start to layer images on top of one another and mix them very similarly to the same way you would be able to in Photoshop. So this is a very powerful map type. Now composite is also a material type that works very similarly. So now that we have this, let's talk about how to add layers. Well, we can hit the plus symbol to add a layer here, and once we've added a layer, we can also delete the layer just by clicking on this button, and then we can make copies of a layer or duplicate the layer itself, or we could even rename this layer. Now I just need one single layer for right now, because what I want to do is I want to take a map, a diffuse map, and I want to layer it on top of my material. So I still want to be able to use this. If I were to use just a regular bitmap on this wing, so let's go ahead and grab this material just really quickly. If I applied the diffuse color map and I just used a bitmap, what it would do, let's go ahead and use, let's use this wings diffuse map really quick. Let's hit open, and if we assign this to the wings, you're going to notice what's going to happen here. Whenever we hit render, it creates that black image with those orange paint markings on the wings, and it doesn't reveal the material below it. So this can be a little bit of an issue. So we're using a different map type to get us the material and our diffuse map on top of it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the difference here. So let's go back to the material with our bump map, and we're in that composite section, and let's go ahead and click on none. Now this is going to receive your texture, so we want to use the bitmap texture, and we're going to go down and we're going to see wings diffuse map. Go ahead and hit open on that map, and you're going to see that you can see the bump map, and then we can also see the color, but it's also applying that black material or that black part of the texture on this, just like the other side. So it's not really doing what we want it to do just yet. Now the great thing about that composite is that we have the mask that we can use to our advantage. So if I click on none here and use bitmap, I've created a mask here. So let's go ahead and find that wings diffuse map. Okay, or I'm sorry, we're looking for the mask here. So wings composite mask, and we'll hit open on that. And now you'll see on our material we have that green material that we had created, and we can also see that we have our bump map, and then we can also see that diffuse color. But you'll notice that in the viewport it's not showing up properly. So what's going on? Well, whenever we are using a composite map like this, it won't actually give us the effect we're looking for until we hit render. So just be aware of that. Whenever you're working with some of these different types of maps, you will have to render just to get those. Now you'll notice that on this side we need to go ahead and apply that same material. Okay, so we'll apply that, and now if we take a look at our aircraft, we've got that green material, and then we also have our diffuse color that we want to put on there as well as our bump map. Alright, so now what we're going to do in our next lesson is we're going to go ahead and start talking about a couple of the different materials that will help us with glass and things like that. Alright, so I'll see you then.